Hello friends, now this is about our children, guys, and about doing something to protect them. Now those of you who know me will know that I have a special needs son, and he goes to a wonderful school, I must say. I'm not going to name names here, of course, but in their situation there, of course, more so even perhaps than in a normal school, we have to trust the staff and the teachers implicitly that they will, look after our precious children. So, but even there, they of course are coming under pressure from the establishment, all of the people who work within the system. And I understand this, guys. We keep explaining this to everybody. We understand. You have a mortgage to pay. You've got mouths to feed. You've got a career that you're invested in. So when the boss tells you that you have to do something, and if you know that that something is wrong, you're faced with a real dilemma. Now listen, we can empathize with that, but you've got to think about this logically, and I don't think it's too dramatic to put it in these terms. If you were a German or a soldier in the German army back in the day, and you were ordered to execute people who had committed no crimes, would you do it? There's very, very little difference between what happened then and what's happening today, guys, except for in the old days, the villains had the honesty, at least, to wear skulls and crossbones on their caps and carry pistols so that you knew what the consequences would be if you did not obey. Here, it's all hidden under the great lie of democracy and justice for all and the rule of law, etc., etc., which we do not have, guys. Anyway, I'm going to read now the letter that we recently sent in. Obviously, you can adjust it and amend it according to your own personal circumstances, but this is one way that you can do something to protect your children from the unwanted attentions of people who may not have their best interests at heart. And not forgetting, of course, that here in Ireland, if you have any qualms about what may or may not be happening to your child at school, at least here in Ireland, we still have the lawful constitutional authority to homeschool. And we've done it with our children at various times over the years. It's a real option if you're placed in a position where you cannot trust the school authorities to make the right moral choices in face of instructions to the contrary. Okay, so here's that letter, guys. Dear school principal, staff and the school board, let us open with the most sincere appreciation of what you and your staff have achieved at the school and the manner in which you all go about your work. It is refreshing and reassuring to see the right type of people in such special positions of trust and responsibility. And we genuinely thank you and all those who have had dealings with our son thus far for your kindness and consideration. And that's an absolute sincere comment and exactly the way that we should open this letter in our particular circumstances. To the matter at hand. The COVID-19 phenomenon, as we are calling it, is, as you know, causing massive problems in society. And those who are in any way aligned with or affiliated with the state are coming under extraordinary pressure to accept and indeed promote the official narrative. The great and everlasting problem we have today, and something that has gone largely unnoticed, or at least is not being openly discussed by the general population, is that the authorities, as we have been conditioned to think of them, are largely comprised of career liars and moral deviants, by sociopaths and psychopaths, in other words, and by those who abjectly serve and support them, who see the rest of us as mere units or even obstacles to their own predatory ambitions. As you are probably aware, Principal, I, Stephen, am an author and a publisher. I am also a forensic investigator for the Integrity Ireland Association and function as an officer of the newly formed People's Tribunal of Ireland. Most importantly, perhaps, I am my son's father. And it is in context of these combined positions that we, my wife and I, provide you with the enclosed materials as a basis upon which we request most respectfully, on both moral and legal grounds, that you return to us in writing with a signed confirmation that our son will not at any time be subjected to any of the following processes or procedures, on the simple grounds that any such activities are now deemed and proven to be definitively unlawful, in addition to being fraudulent and intrinsically amoral. And I'll put up here on the side, guys, where you can go to a link to look at this in more detail. But basically, we served notices on the government over an extended period of time, sending in all the reports and the data, proving the genuine truth of the so-called crisis we're all embedded in, and asking them to do their lawful duties. When they failed and refused to do so, that gave us the legal authority to issue these passes and such like that I sent in to the school. So the procedures we're objecting to are only two, guys. Number one, testing or assessing in any format whatsoever for any purported evidence of COVID-19. And again, I know I'm using this word, but this is what we're objecting to, okay? We're making no commentary on the details because that was all covered in the reports we sent to the government. And number two, presenting any form of education, that is, instructions, directions, advice, or propaganda that implies that there is any purported danger from the COVID-19 phenomenon other than that being caused by the knowingly amoral and unconstitutional actions of the authorities. Very simply, again, guys, what we're really saying is, yes, there are great dangers surrounding this COVID-19 phenomenon, massive dangers, but they're not coming from any pesky, highly intelligent little virus. They're coming from the reactions of the authorities, and not even the reactions, but the pre-planned actions and the mandates and the directions being issued and all of the lockdown stuff and so on and so forth. You know what I'm talking about. We would not for a moment consider the possibility, Principal, that you or any of the staff at the school would consciously seek to cause harm to any of the students. But evidence of a definitive drift from healthy, student-centred and empathetic principles is becoming all too obvious in the mandates now issuing out of an utterly corrupt government towards the nation's schools. And these mandates, for want of a better word, are rooted in now proven sinister and indeed even diabolical intentions towards the great and largely unaware mass of humanity. And it is incumbent upon those of us who know and understand what is really going on and who have the proofs in support of the same to take a public stand on behalf of all of those who cannot, such as all of those who are dependent upon the state for their livelihoods, such as all of the teachers, for example, and of course, your precious charges at the school, our children. We would be obliged, therefore, Principal, if you, as the principal of the school, could return to us in writing at your very earliest, confirming that our wishes as our son's parents in these matters will absolutely be respected and adhered to without exception or compromise. Thank you. Our kindest regards and sincere respect as always, and then signed in our name. Now, guys, that's obviously our letter, one pager, but the point we're making is we want it in writing from the school. They've already confirmed it verbally, and that would normally be good enough, but not in this climate, guys, where we've now heard that Austria, for example, intends forced injections coming from February. This is not the way we should be going, guys. And if that starts happening there, you can be sure it's going to happen everywhere else. We have to wake up. We have to take the right actions, guys. We have to get informed. We have to read the books that are out there now. And again, this has gone up and down to number one in its category on Amazon over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because it means that people are starting to read and listen. And that book will explain, guys, not only the circumstances, the logistics and the technical circumstances that most of us are waking up to and what's really going on, but it explains how we have allowed so many sociopaths and psychopaths into the top controlling positions in basically all of the global institutions. And these are people who do not care about other people, not unless there is profit and reward in it, while they exercise what we're calling their diabolical and predatory ambitions. Please, guys, share this message. We will put a version of this up on a separate platform if it gets taken down. But we really, really have to start working on what can be done. Again, in the book, Crisis Colour Coup, we've got solutions. We talk about them. The materials, for example, we sent to the school include lawful declarations, which will pop up here on the side so you can see where you can go and research this stuff. Okay, guys, over and out for now. Thank you again for all of the support. One by one together, we can make a difference.